Let's preview Spurs Warriors round 2 tonight in San Antonio, and then ask, will battle-tested teams kind of really be an issue for the Spurs?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Friday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. As always, I'm glad to have y'all back. Thank y'all for subscribing wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You know where to go. That's YouTube, iTunes, Ken's 5 Plus app, Spotify. I mean, pick a platform. We are there. Speaking of the network, congratulations to the network. Locked On Podcast Sports Network is the #1 sports podcasting network. Appreciate y'all subscribing, not just to Locked On Spurs, but for everybody, all the shows across the network. We definitely appreciate it. Keep it coming. Hey, before we continue, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets used across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Also, before we begin, I am battling the cold. Yes, I am seeing the beginning stages of it. So if I sound a little funky, a little wonky, just ignore me. We'll move on. I was this close to doing audio only, but I forgot. I think I'm going to power through it. I took a lot of medicine. That's basically what it was. So please forgive me how I feel right now. But what are we talking about today? We're going to preview tonight's game, Spurs Warriors round 2 in San Antonio. And then ask something that kind of spun off from that first game a couple days ago where the Spurs lost to Golden State is battle-tested. Will battle-tested teams be an issue for the Spurs long-term? I think you're going to read between the lines what I mean by long-term. You'll hear what we have to say about that. Let's bring in our guest. He is back, everybody, to close out the week with us. The Sports Answer's very own Rudy Campos. Make sure to follow him on X at Sweep the League. Rudy, good thing this thing is done like this where you're not next to me, you can't catch a cold or something.
The mask mandate would probably be in effect if I was there in studio with you.
It's that time of the year, man. It's that time of year where the little bugs are popping up. And I unfortunately got a small taste of it, but I'm fighting through it, though. I'm trying to fight through it.
Is it flu season? Is this the time it's flu season? I don't even know.
It's about the time, yeah. I mean, it's not officially, but I got a head start on it if this thing erupts, man. If this thing erupts, I am cooked. I'm fighting the good fight right now. Anything like Gatorade, OJ, Dayquil, I'm popping in me just to fight it back. But everybody, I know, exactly. As always, thank you, Rudy, for taking time out of your busy schedule. Let's get to it. So let's preview tonight's game, and then we'll get into the big talk in just a few minutes about battle-tested teams and the Spurs not being that. But got round 2 tonight in San Antonio, Spurs Warriors. Spurs going to look to erase that loss to Golden State a couple days ago. And right off the bat, I think you should play some defense, Rudy. Maybe just a little defense. You can't let the Warriors go for how many three-pointers in the game? I mean, close down those three-point shooters. I know Steph Curry is a beast, but come on, put a body on him. Do something. The Warriors in that game 1 connected on 21 three-pointers. It took 57 attempts. And speaking of defense, after you allow the Warriors just to score a mere 14 in the opening frame, the Warriors scored 35 in the second, 43 in the third, and 33 in the final period. Rudy, it begins with defense, and the Spurs talked about it after the loss, saying they got to be more disciplined on that end of the court. They were not, were they?
Yeah, no, and it's kind of funny because he's mentioned the third quarter, and if I remember a few years back, I think even pre-Wemby, that third quarter was always a focal factor for the Spurs. Coming out of the locker room very, lackadaisy. But, yeah, you're right. The Spurs understand it. The coaching staff understands it. Yeah. It's all on the defensive side. I mean, 21 three-pointers in the game. Eesh. You're probably, and that's a big, more than likely instead of probably, you're going to lose that game right there. The Warriors, they kind of did what the Warriors normally do. They started off very slow, and Steph Curry had a really tough time shooting that first quarter, but in typical Steph Curry fashion, he's going to bounce back. Shooters are going to shoot. Eventually, they're going to fall. It looked in some instances, Jeff, that maybe the Spurs were a little gassed in that second half.
Interesting.
And, I mean, when you've got a team that just continues to cut, to move around the basket, move around the court, you're probably going to get gassed. You saw how, again, a Draymond Green type of player,
Mm-hmm.
remember when you're lower to the floor playing against
Right.
Wemby, you can kind of power him, push him around a little bit. Not at all. I mean, it's still relatively early in the season. Hopefully,
Right.
that bounce back game tonight is something that they learned from game one against the Warriors. But yeah, I mean, defense, it all starts on the defensive side.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad the Spurs recognized it after the game, from Steph Castle to D Fox to Wemby. They all said they got to be disciplined. Mitch Johnson stressed that enough too. They said there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds during the game, and there were. That was a winnable game. That was a game they should have won. And if they just played some slight defense, they would have at least made it interesting and perhaps got to make a slim win. But nevertheless, yeah, for me, it starts with defense. And look, praise to Steph Castle, praise to Wemby. They made Spurs history. The first time players in Spurs uniforms recorded triple doubles in the same game, which I found astonishing. I thought maybe for sure like Manu and Tony would have done that, or Admiral and pick a player, Sean Elliott or something like that. But no, that hasn't happened. And look, that's great. You need those kind of efforts from those two players. They're your biggest weapons on the court. But here we go. Here comes the hate now, Rudy. But the Spurs, I don't know if you caught this. They had 20 turnovers in the game, right?
Well, obviously turnovers can't happen at the NBA level consistently and actually at that kind of pace as well. Your two best players on the court, Stephon Castle, Victor Wembanyama. I mean, yeah, one of them, Wemby's probably going to have, some turnovers from time to time. Steph Castle kind of being a ball handler, kind of being on ball as well on the opposite side. You kind of expect that. He's still developing. He's only in his second year. So, but to have both of those guys with the combined 14 turnovers, that's got to stop. It makes you wonder, was the offense just not clicking a lot in the previous game? It's just a lot of stuff you can question, but you definitely cannot have both of your best players turning the ball over. It's, you know what? I get a team against maybe like Washington, Charlotte, even another team, possibly like a Utah. Turnovers, they could add up, but they may not mean as much. But when you go with the Warriors, when they have transition three-point shooters, and they got deadly shooters, they're very, very fast. Those turnovers, I mean, you're talking 14 turnovers probably turned into at least 20-plus points just off of their turnovers alone. That's the game right there.
Yeah, and interesting enough, too, the only player that was in the plus-minus column was Steph Castle. He was a +8. Everybody that got minutes was a minus. Even Wembanyama. Wemby was a -9. Keldon Johnson, a -9. They were just not helping the team. Again, going back to what Mitch Johnson said, the self-inflicted wounds. You allow 21 three-pointer makes. You hit 14. Excuse me. See, here we go with the cold. And you get you allow 32 rebounds by the Warriors. You don't take care of the glass. Those are opportunities there that you can take away from the opposing team. All in all, it just makes for a bad game. But we're not done previewing tonight's game. When we get back, we're going to continue to talk about what happened in round one between the Spurs and Warriors, then talk more about tonight's game, and then battle-tested, the theme of what it means to be battle-tested. Coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer.
Hey, let's talk about Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop, the doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half of the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. Look, you'll love using Drip Drop as part of your daily routine. It's a packet. You mix it up in the morning before the gym or during the day during that midday slump. Tastes amazing. Your go-to flavor. You'll find out what that is ASAP. It'll be your secret weapon for staying sharp, energized throughout long days. Hydration has become non-negotiable for me. Drip Drops helps you and me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly just better overall. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's Drip Drop, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard. Keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. Let's talk about Wayfair. The holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. The best part? You don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. Hey, if you want to pretty much upgrade, well, whatever, like dining chairs or a rug, you can go to Wayfair, completely transform the room. You're not going to believe how fast everything is shipped just in time for the holidays. Browse through their site, easy to find pieces that'll fit your style, nothing generic, just quality designs that feel personal. So if you ever hosted family for the holidays, you know how much of a difference a few new touches can make. Wayfair makes that easy. Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com. Shop now at Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer. He is helping us close out the week here on Locked On Spurs. Make sure to check out the Sports Answer on YouTube. Do that right now. More on that later. We're talking about Spurs Warriors. We've got the game preview going on right now because Spurs and Warriors take on each other one more time tonight. Also, it's a cup game. It's a cup game, Rudy. And the Spurs, I think in their group, they lead the group right now. So, let me ask you, are you into the cup? The whole NBA Cup thing tournament, is that a thing for you?
No, I wasn't a fan of it. I'm still not a fan of it. Just, I don't know. It's just a way to generate some kind of hype, generate some kind of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, never a fan of the Emirates Cup.
I guess it's okay for me. For me, it's let's just project this out. Let's just say the Spurs win the cup. I hope they don't do a banner ceremony for it because that would be kind of cringe, right?
I mean, it's a tournament championship. It's not an actual championship, but hey, anything for Spurs fans to celebrate, right? I mean, it is.
And I guess in the marketing, the marketing side too, it'd be good to sell things revolving around T-shirts and whatnot. So yeah, maybe financially it could be a good thing for the Spurs. All right, let's talk about the game tonight, Spurs Warriors, and also looking back at the last game where the Spurs lost to the Warriors, 125-120. Can we get De'Aaron Fox to get going too? No, I know Mitch Johnson addressed that after the loss.
Yeah.
Expect him to be back to all-star form. He just got back from injury and has been away from the game for a while because of those injuries. But in that first game, well, you know what I mean, that first game versus the Warriors in this home set, De'Aaron Fox, 35 minutes. He was a -2, 13 points, 5 for 14 from the field, 1 for 5 from the three line. He had 5 rebounds and 6 turnovers, I believe. So, thanks. Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Not good there.
No, it's not good at all.
Fox's play. I mean, you got to have one of your primary weapons going.
Yeah, you do, and not to take away from Castle or Wemby, but Fox is going to be that motor. He's going to be the guy that gets everybody going. He's your point guard. He's your leader on the team. But again, kind of like you mentioned that they did in the past segment, it seemed like some of the guys were a little bit gassed in that Warriors game for a second half, and that could be Fox. He's still getting his legs under him. He just got back into the mix of it all. So hey, let's see how this game goes tonight. But I think eventually you'll start to see, that all-star form that De'Aaron Fox is used to playing at. Again, kind of he's just barely got back. But at what point do we finally say, you know what, as great of a coaching staff as the Spurs have built in the offseason, this kind of has a feel of a game that this is maybe on their shoulders as well, more than the players, because a lot of the adjustments that you would kind of expect from coaching staff to make didn't seem to happen. You went from a 14-point, the 14-point first quarter for the Golden State Warriors. After that, you go on 30, 40, 30. Eventually, a change or any type of adjustment would have had to have been made once the Warriors started going. So I don't know what point do we question just this game, on to the coaching staff, see how much, not blame, but see how much at fault they are for it.
Yeah. I mean, there was some interesting things that Mitch Johnson did or did not do in that first game. For example, with Steph Curry, why don't you just close out on him? You just run him off that line. He was just giving open looks, and the team talked about it afterwards that they gave the Warriors too many open looks, and they definitely will make you pay. Wemby even said, even before he was in the NBA, he knew that the Warriors were a problem if you leave them open, and sure enough, it happened. Other things that you're looking back at that first game, then of course fast forwarding to tonight, Spurs Warriors, is the big question that's been on Spurs fans' mind is what's going on with Jeremy Sochan. He played 6 minutes versus the Warriors a couple of nights ago. He's been used sparingly since he's gotten back from injury. Is this just a simple thing, Rudy, of them just easing him back in because he's been away from the game, or you think there's something bigger here?
I've always been on that conspiracy thing, but I really think that it's a little bit of both, kind of getting him back into shape. He has been back. He's been playing.
Mm-hmm.
He was out in the beginning part of the season, but I think there's a little bit more to it than just that. Derek Gervin on the Sports Answer and myself have kind of both made an opinion that Jeremy doesn't necessarily fit the system that they're going for in San Antonio right now. But again, you can always have players adjust. You can always, find a position for a player. And, Derek has kind of made sense of that as well. As like, he's tremendous talent, really good defender, but he doesn't fit the scheme that they're trying to do in San Antonio. So could it be that reason? Could it be that maybe he possibly is in the Mitch Johnson doghouse? Or could it be that what we've talked about in the offseason, that his name would be up when it comes to trade talks? So there's so many factors just to figure it in. I'd say give it a few more games and see how this goes. Maybe his minutes will uptick. But for right now, it's just a lot of speculation going on. It's too early to even think about if something is really going on with Jeremy.
Yeah, you definitely could have used him yesterday more. So even just for rebounding, just something, just to present something to the Warriors differently, and also things too. Even if he was not getting his shot going, why not throw in at least a promising defender like Carter Bryant? Throw him out there and see what he can do against the Warriors. Perhaps.
That's my thought process. Why we didn't get in more of Carter Bryant.
Yeah,
that kind of was a disappointing thing for me to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is. He's at least in the little time we've seen him from summer league to NBA. He seems to be a capable defender, capable player, definitely a rim attacker. So why not throw him out there? But nevertheless, let's talk about tonight's game. I have to see more defense. I got to see more defense. Minimal turnovers. You cannot turn the ball over against a Warriors team that, although their record is 7-6, just one game above 500, this is still a dangerous team. Yeah, you got to have Wemby and Castle do their thing. You got to have Fox show up. This team needs to be playing on all cylinders. And here's the thing. This team is deep, Rudy. This team is deep. If you just do roster to roster, pound for pound, the Spurs should beat the Warriors. That last game was winnable. Tonight's game is winnable. You mentioned it before we hit the record button. You said this is the time of this year because the Spurs have an easy schedule. And the Warriors, although their record doesn't reflect it, we're going to get to this more. They're not an easy team, but they are at least a winnable team if we're looking at pound for pound. What do you think?
Yeah, the Warriors, again, we're not taking anything away from Golden State. We are aware of Steph Curry and crew, especially Steve Curry there. But you're right, man. These are games that are winnable, especially against Golden State. Now, we can't say that the Spurs are fully healthy. Obviously, you still have Dylan Harper out, which I believe in the last game, if Dylan Harper was healthy and playing, it would have seen a different outcome because you have another ball handler there. Turnovers might have been lower for Stephon Castle, but at the same time, right now with the first 20 games of the season, this is where they're going to take advantage of. It shouldn't be surprised that they're having successes early. It should be surprised that they are probably having difficulties with a team like Golden State. They don't have a whole lot of size. This is a game where Wemby should have been able to dominate it in the paint.
Yeah.
This is a game where it should have been controlled by the San Antonio Spurs. But again, one of those games that got away. It looked very promising early in
Right.
the game. Hopefully they can learn going into the mistakes going into tonight's game. But I agree with you on one thing. Turnovers, man. Turnovers are going to bite you in the butt every single time,
Mhm.
especially with a team like Golden State.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the word there, paint, because if you look at that first game, Spurs Warriors a couple days ago, Spurs dominated points in the paint, 52-22. That was their bread and butter. That's what was keeping them in the game for the most part, and it feels like they just went away from that. They just went away from that. Just keep on giving it to Wemby. Keep on attacking the paint. I think they should do that tonight in the frost. And I think if they just control that paint, let that be their, first option, is just dominate the Warriors. Because Al Horford, he's a good player, but he's not Al Horford of old. Draymond Green, solid defender, but Wemby should be able to, at least get somewhat close to the rim. I know Draymond is a strong dude. He's going to push him out as best he can, try to get him in foul trouble, but Wemby should be able to handle that. You can just get back to that pain. But hopefully the Spurs get a W and get back on the winning track. He is Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. When we get back, we're going to be talking about battle tested. Did the Warriors show something about the Spurs that may sneak up on them as the season continues? Let's talk about that coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs.
Let's talk about DoorDash. The NBA season is heating up, and DoorDash has found a perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for the highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the Bag Drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, the stuff you actually want. For example, you love that it's just not food. You can get everything from snacks to drinks, headphones, ice, even socks, all delivered. DoorDash has you covered for late-night highlights, last-minute watch parties, and double OT fuel-ups. Next time someone goes for 50, use promo code NBA50 the next day and get 50% off your DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus your shot at the drop bag. Hey, Dash Pass members can only use this. 50% off up to $10 a day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get into the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps everything exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Hey, Spurs season is underway. Might as well jump on the action over at FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first 5 bet wins. So, head to FanDuel.com. Sign up right now. Play your game at FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Rudy Campos, closing out the week here on Locked On Spurs. He's with the Sports Answer. More on that later. So, Rudy, before you came on, I kind of called an audible on you in the rundown, and I say, let's change up that final segment. Let's talk about the concept of battle tested. Now, the Spurs, we talked about this, Rudy. They haven't really played solid teams. Even Victor, after the win versus Chicago, openly admitted that he understands this team has not played the heavy hitters in the NBA yet. So he understands it's kind of a soft schedule. The Warriors were one of those early tests, but on paper, many thought that Spurs should win, and they didn't. But the Warriors have a lot of something that the Spurs don't, and that is experience, battle scars, the wars, from Steve Kerr to Draymond to Curry, from Jimmy Butler, Al Horford. This is a team that knows how to win and can beat you with just raw experience and the wars that they've been in. Spurs have yet to to experience that. They'll get there soon. But if we project this out, let's just say the Spurs have an amazing season. They get a 5 seed, 6 seed, 7 seed, whatever. They get a seed, right? And they go up against a team like the Warriors. Do you think that inexperience in money time post regular season could bite them in the butt?
Simple answer is yes. I mean, it very well can. Whether the Spurs are good enough to be a top 3 team in the league, it really doesn't matter, because no matter who's in the playoffs are a whole different type of breed. It's a whole different world out there. So battle tested, yeah, they're not battle tested. And the Spurs are in two, they're in 2 different scenarios, basically, or 2 different worlds. One world is they've never had the success they're having right now, this whole group of guys yet. So they're in a whole different concept. They're thinking like, okay, we're having success, we're playing good, it feels good. But what happens when you get that first 2 game, or not first, but the first 3 or 4 game losing streak,
right?
Because you're playing heavy hitters. How do you respond to that? Obviously, they had a first 2 game losing streak on the road. They responded well with the win. But when you've got guys, you got to think about the guys you mentioned, Jeff, Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, Draymond, Horford, Jimmy Butler. What do these guys have that none of the Spurs players outside of Luke Cornett, maybe Kelly Olynyk, that is finals NBA and finals appearances, multiple playoff appearances. These guys have been a part of successful franchises for years. They've all been to the finals. They've all had these battle scars. They've all been tested. They've all had the highest of highs, and they've all had the lowest of lows. So that's something that this team's going to be really missing come playoff time. Remember, regular season, you can have the most amazing regular season in your entire lifetime, but it's what you do in the playoffs that gets remembered. Could they be could they be a 1 seed, play an 8 seed and get beaten? Very possibly.
Very possibly,
possibly, yeah. So experience is a lot. It means a whole lot, especially when you've got a group of guys like this who you really don't see a veteran player until maybe Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, as much of a veteran De'Aaron Fox is, he's still coming into the league. Into the team. He only played half season. He had the injury. So he's still getting acclimated to things. But when you're talking about veteran leadership, teams like Denver, teams like Golden State, a lot of these teams like that have already been there, they're going to be the toughest battles for San Antonio.
Yeah, let's make it very clear. We understand that the Spurs do have players that have been there, done that. And we really highlighted a couple of them for you: Cornett and Barnes and Olynyk. So I think to a certain extent, even Bismack has been there too. But the core players, the heavy hitters, your Wembys, your Castle, Keldon, Devin, Sochan, Harper, they have it, and that's what the team relies on. So I can definitely see those guys. Barnes and Olynyk and Cornett can talk all they want, but eventually those guys have to go out there and do it in those situations. There's something obviously it's still a long season. Playoffs are months and months away. I think so many things can happen, from injuries to trades and whatnot, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Should the Spurs be taking these lessons early now, like losing to Warriors? The good thing about losing to the Warriors that the younger Spurs got to see exactly what it takes to win. I think they learned a lot in that loss to Golden State. The good news is they get a chance tonight to redeem themselves. So hopefully see how they respond. But sure, they're not battle tested completely the way the Warriors are, but they have some pieces. But this is just something to monitor, something to watch moving forward. The lack of big game, big series, playoff experience for the prime players on the roster. Again, Barnes, Cornett, and the list, or whoever else they have on there, Fox has been there. They know, but they can't transfer their bodies into them and say, now you're experienced, now you're tested. They can't do that. They have to learn on their own. It's just something, again, to keep an eye on as the season moves on. He is Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer. Rudy, tell us about the Sports Answer.
Yeah, best thing to do is go to YouTube, search Answer Down TV, so you can hit that subscribe button on Answer Down TV, where you can catch myself and Derek Irvin, the Sports Answer, with me every single Sunday for 30 minutes at least, the best 30 minutes in Sports Talk San Antonio right now. So be sure to join us, man. We got some great guests lined up. We're just trying to get confirmation on them. But once we do, it's all NBA, it's all NFL. We have a great time, and I know you guys will too.
Exactly. All right, look at that. All San Antonio's applauding. All of San Antonio there, just applauding the Sports Answer. Go check it out, as Rudy mentioned, on YouTube. The best way to get it, just search the Sports Answer, subscribe right now. Rudy, thanks again for hopping on here on Locked On Spurs with us. We don't care if Rudy can do audio or video. As long as he's here, that's all we do. That's all we do.
No problem.
Follow him on X at Sweet League. Do that right now. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every day. You guys are the everydayers. Keep on being the everydayers that you are. Subscribe on YouTube's Ken's 5 Plus app, iTunes, Spotify. You know what to do. And thanks again, Locked On Sports Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network right now. So congratulations to the network. And of course, we couldn't do it without you guys subscribing. So keep on subscribing. We'll be back next week as the Spurs season continues. So for Mr. Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. What we're going to do, we're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.